Ladies and gentlemen, honestly, this is now getting tiring. It has been 13 days and the theatre of the absurd continues in Parliament. First, it was over the Adanis. Then, George Soros made an appearance. And now, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has become the cause-D disruptor. The opposition, as you know, has moved for his removal as the Rajya Sabha chairperson, and the BJP has found its mojo with full-blown histrionics in the upper house. Take a look.
हमारा आदरणीय जगदीप धनखड़ जी एक ऐसा नेता है जो इस पद में रह करके भी और इस पद के बाहर भी हमेशा किसानों के लिए बात किया है, हमेशा गरीब तबकों के लिए बात किया है। इस देश को, संविधान को, हमारे देश का जो संविधान है, इसको रक्षा करने के लिए हर समय उपराष्ट्रपति जी ने पहल किया है। हम लोग गर्व है आदरणीय जगदीप धनखड़ जी राज्यसभा चेयरमैन के रूप में इस कुर्सी पे आसीन है। हम लोग फख्र महसूस करते हैं और चेयर के खिलाफ कोई भी आप लोग काम करेंगे, इस तरह का नोटिस देने का नाटक करेंगे, हम लोग इसको कामयाब होने नहीं देंगे और पूरे कांग्रेस पार्टी माफी मांगना चाहिए। सोरोस और कांग्रेस नेतृत्व के बीच में क्या रिश्ता है, वो रिश्ता जो है सदन के सामने में आप लोग बताइए और देश के सामने में माफी मांगना चाहिए। मैं साहब ये कांग्रेस पार्टी और उसके साथियों का जो हरकत है उसका मैं खंडन करता हूं।
Ladies and gentlemen, if it was all guns blazing inside the Rajya Sabha, outside was, well, roses. Keeping the theatrics going, the Congress party today showed up with roses outside Parliament and tried to mostly forcefully give them to BJP members. Can we just put those pictures on as well? Rahul Gandhi, in fact, offered one to Rajnath Singh, but Mr. Rajnath Singh was a little hesitant and then he had no option but to take it. Despite these pictures, the larger picture wasn't rosy at all. Rahul Gandhi once again accused the government of stalling Parliament's proceedings. Then he met Speaker Om Birla and claimed that the opposition is ready for discussions, but it's the BJP that wants disruptions.
ये जो कमेंट्स हैं, डेरोगेटरी कमेंट्स हैं मेरे बारे में, इनको एक्सपंज किया जाए। स्पीकर ने कहा कि वो इनको एग्जामिन करेंगे। देखिए, ये उल्टे सीधे एक्यूजेशन लगाते रहते हैं, मगर हमने डिसीजन लिया है, एटलीस्ट मेरी थिंकिंग है कि ये जो भी प्रोवोकेशन करें इनको हम करने देंगे, बट हम हाउस को रन कराएंगे और हमारी पूरी कोशिश होगी कि हम किसी ना किसी तरह हम हाउस को रन करें। हम चाहते हैं कि डिबेट हो, डिस्कशन हो। 13 तारीख को कमिटमेंट था कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पे डिबेट होगा। हम चाहते हैं कि वो डिबेट हो और हम हाउस को रन करने देंगे। अदानी पे डिस्कशन नहीं चाहते हैं। वो अडानी से डिस्ट्रैक्ट कराना चाहते हैं और डिस्ट्रैक्शंस करते रहते हैं। आप जानते हो, मैं भी जानता हूँ, एंड में हम छोड़ेंगे नहीं।
शर्म की बात है, पहली बार देख रही हूँ कि सरकार खुद डिसरप्ट कर रही है सदन। शर्म की बात है, पहली बार देख रही हूँ कि सरकार खुद डिसरप्ट कर रही है सदन।
Now, a similar sentiment was echoed by his party chief, Mallikarjun Kharge. Mr. Kharge went a step further and called the vice president the biggest government spokesperson and the biggest disruptor-in-chief in the Rajya Sabha.
लेकिन हमें अफसोस है कि संविधान के अडॉप्शन के 75वें साल में चेयरमैन की तरफ से हो रहे बायस्ड पार्टीजन व्यवहार विपक्षी पार्टियों को उनके खिलाफ ये प्रस्ताव लाने पर मजबूर किया। पिछले 3 वर्षों में उनका आचरण, उनके पद की गरिमा के विपरीत रहा है। इस तरह की बयानबाजी उनके पद को शोभा नहीं देती। सदन अगर डिसरप्ट होता है तो उसका सबसे बड़ा कारण हमारे चेयरमैन साहब है और दूसरों को वो सबक सिखाते हैं और बार बार इंटरप्शन करके हाउस को बंद करने की कोशिश रूलिंग पार्टी से और चेयरमैन साहब की तरफ से ज्यादा होता है।
Now, ladies and gentlemen, while the Congress party has accused Jagdeep Dhankar and the BJP, its allies are calling a spade and accusing both the Congress party and the BJP of stalling proceedings.
कांग्रेस और बीजेपी का मर्जी माफिक हाउस चलते हैं, ये ठीक नहीं है। कांग्रेस सोचता है आज 15 मिनट चलाएगा, आधा घंटा चलाएगा तो आधा घंटा, 45 मिनट चलाएगा तो चलाएगा। उसके बाद बीजेपी समझता है तो आधा घंटा चलाएगा, 45 मिनट चलाएगा, चलता है। ये कोई तरीका होता है? सोच लीजिए हाउस करेंगे ना नहीं करेंगे। कांग्रेस और बीजेपी सोच के आइए हाउस करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे। वो लोग रूलिंग पार्टी है, उनका मौका ज्यादा मिलता है। कांग्रेस मेन ऑपोजिशन है, उनका मौका ज्यादा मिलता है। हम लोग को कुछ ही नहीं मिलता है। ये कैसा है? जब मर्जी तब बंद कर देंगे, जब मर्जी तब बंद कर देंगे कोई इशू लेके।
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick word about Jagdeep Dhankar and the no confidence motion against him. We all know this is political posturing and nothing else because the opposition simply doesn't have the numbers. The process of removing the Rajya Sabha chairperson, well, it's going to be tough because it requires not just a vote in the Rajya Sabha, it also requires a vote in the Lok Sabha. A quick look at the numbers, they're on your screens. The BJP and its allies have around 125 seats, while the opposition enjoys the support of around 112 MPs in the 245-member Rajya Sabha. And even if they manage to pass the motion in the upper house, it will be an uphill task for them to get this motion cleared in the Lok Sabha, as the ruling NDA has 293 seats, compared to the opposition's 238. Now, while all of this controversy is speaking, Mr. Dhankar has finally broken his silence. He's targeting not just the opposition, but the opposition's intention, saying that there are some forces in the country which are unable to digest India's progress and that efforts are currently underway to divide the country and insult institutions.
कुछ ऐसी ताकतें हैं देश में और बाहर जो भारत की प्रगति को पचा नहीं पा रहे हैं। देश को खंडित करने का, देश को विभाजित करने का, देश की संस्थाओं को अपमानित करने का सुनियोजित तरीके से एक कृत्य हो रहा है। आम नागरिक की इसमें बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। वी मस्ट न्यूट्रलाइज इन टुगेदरनेस एवरी एंटी नेशनल नैरेटिव।
My guest this evening, Jasmine Sandhawalia is spokesperson of the BJP, Sujata Paul is spokesperson of the Congress party, Tausif Ahmed Khan is a lawyer, political analyst, will be speaking on behalf of the TMC. Neerija Chaudhary is joining us on the broadcast as well. Neerija ji, good to have you on the show. And Karan Verma is with us in the studio. Thank you very much. Sujata Paul, I'm going to ask you a question that your own allies are asking you. Sadan chalana hai ya nahi chalana hai? Decide kar lijiye.
That is entirely dependent on the government of India. The government does not want the parliament to run, and that is why they're coming up with all kinds of narratives which are such bogus narratives. They talk about George Soros, and you tell me if we start questioning them on the number of children of BJP leaders who are being funded by George Soros's foundation, they will have no answers. But we don't want to digress and divert. But if you look at what the Honorable Vice President did was when we said that we wanted a discussion on the farmers' protest, he refused that. At that point of time, he said that we were shedding crocodile tears. So if you look at the way he has been behaving, whether it was Vinesh Phogat's issue when the Paris Olympics were going on, he just refused to have any discussion on that. And every time opposition members and a senior member, leader of opposition, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, stands up to speak, he just shoots him and he keeps saying that nothing will go on record. What does this mean? The moment you utter the word Adani, this, no danger to Adani government starts getting into action. And that is headed by the Honorable Vice President, who's supposed to be bipartisan. What kind of example is he setting? And now, when he talks about anti-national forces inside and outside, aren't you seeing what kind of nature he is exhibiting? What kind of character is he exhibiting? Where is he accusing people who are in parliament, who have been elected by this country, who have been elected by the people of this country? The election commission has allowed them to contest elections and win. He is accusing them of various, of being with anti-national forces. What kind of narrative is he trying to set?
Okay, fair point. Jasmine Sandhawalia, just because the opposition has a problem with the Vice President and the Chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, Jagdeep Dhankar, they are saying he's partisan, they are saying he doesn't allow us to speak, they are saying he only speaks like a BJP spokesperson, they have a problem with him, they are moving a no confidence motion against him. How does it become an act against the country? How does it become an act of dividing India? You're not happy with your Rajya Sabha chairperson. You say we want him out. You, in any case, don't have the numbers. That's a different issue. But how is moving a motion acting against India? अब ये तो नहीं हो गया कि जगदीप धांकर is India and India is Jagdeep Dhankar?
देखिए Sneha, what has happened is that this winter session has turned into a very frivolous and a very sad kind of a debate. We've not had, like you said, this is the 13th day, we've not had any constructive debate in the parliament. And when the opposition accuses the vice president that he's partisan, I also want to bring it to their notice that he is one of the most proactive chairpersons the Rajya Sabha has had. He's articulate, he gives everybody a chance, he has a sense of humor, he encourages healthy debate. Now, what happens is when the opposition has nothing else to say, when we've brought up the George Soros issue, suddenly they have gone that, they are talking about anti-nationalism, but we are not. Now, just now I was listening to the Congress spokesperson and she said, here are elected MPs, how can they be anti-national? Well, elected MPs can be anti-national. They can be anti-national unless or until you dig into somebody's past, some history comes up. We do not know what can happen to any MP. And it is for everybody to see that George Soros has a huge lobby. He has been funding many countries in Europe. And when the Congress spokesperson lady said that we can name children of the BJP MPs who are getting funds, they should come out. We encourage that. We are not scared. They should, in fact, if they have the names, they would have been the first ones to name us. Please go ahead and name them. So what I'm saying is that it is a very serious concern when they talk about Adani. I definitely want to bring one thing to their notice. What happens when in the Congress-ruled states, huge mammoth projects are given to Adani. But suddenly Adani becomes a man of the BJP. Adani is an industrialist. And if there is alleged corruption, they have every right to bring up in the parliament. We encourage that. I'm saying on record that if Mr. Adani is indulging in corrupt practices to get the projects, the opposition has every right to bring it up. But please do not build a boogie. That is my point. Do not build up a boogie when the UPA government passes projects for Mr. Adani. Mr. Rahul Gandhi kept quiet. Sonia Gandhi was the party president. Their own environment minister.
Okay.
Mr. Jaishankar's
son, hypocrisy forget what happened in the past. See what is even happening in the present.
No, but what
Mr. Jaishankar के बेटे पे बाद में जाइए, but Sujata ji, the point is hypocrisy तो है. If the Congress party has a problem with the Adanis, why is the Telangana government dealing with Mr. Adani?
And today,
why is the TMC dealing with Mr. Adani? Why are opposition states dealing with Mr. Adani? This is a clear hypocrisy that is, that is for everyone to see. I mean, as far
No,
as I'm
you know-
concerned, I'm a citizen of this country. I look at Parliament every day and say, ये दोनों BJP Congress हमारे सारे पैसे बर्बाद करने में लगे हुए हैं. Both parties. But anyhow,
Shreya ji,
respond to the hypocrisy, and
Yes.
I'll go to my other guests then.
Shreya ji, one very important thing is that as far as Telangana government is concerned, Mr. Adani had donated 100 crores. We've returned it. And of course, like you've seen in Andhra Pradesh, which is, where Chandrababu Naidu ji is there, and he's an ally of the BJP. What has happened? They are also conducting an investigation into the Adani deals which have happened. Now, when the Prime Minister is supposedly close to Mr. Adani, and there are cases like the ports which were given to them by changing the rules, there will be questions asked. But there is one very important point here. When you talk about the George Soros issue, the UN Democracy Fund, gives money to Open Society Foundation of George Soros. And there are various countries, there are 45 countries, out of which we are the fourth one, and we are giving $900,000 in the last 8 years. So isn't Mr. Modi going to be held accountable for his relation with Mr. George Soros? Are we going to call him anti-national for that? I'm not going to do that. He's my Prime Minister. But when you are talking about the disruption in Parliament, you heard Mr. Kiran Rijiju. He was talking about George Soros suddenly in between. So they're behaving like a pendulum. That's what is happening.
Okay, Neerja Chaudhary, you're out in the cold. I quickly want to come to you before, so that I can be, I can ask you my question and then you can be on your way home. Thank you very much for pausing, first of all, in the middle of Delhi's traffic to take this question from me. Neerja Chaudhary, just tell our viewers what exactly is going on in Parliament. Full histrionics, full drama, guns and roses. My point is, beyond a point, all this drama is fun for a day, a couple of days. But on day 13, it becomes tiring and you start wondering why you even come to work and earn money and pay your taxes if this is how your taxes are going to be wasted.
Shreya, you're right. What you're saying, many people in the country are feeling that today. It's quite, I use the word painful, to see our elected representatives behaving the way they have been behaving. Every single issue, Congress's, whatever they feel on Adani, BJP, whatever they feel on Soros, whatever else they feel, Sambal, economy, everything can be discussed on the floor of the House. That is what Parliament is there for. And you're right, it's a taxpayer's money, so much money wasted every minute in Parliament. And when they're supposed to be debating, holding the government to account as far as the opposition is concerned, and opposition is very much part of Parliament. And we are strong enough as a parliamentary democracy, as an economy, as a country of so many billion people, to be able to have a discussion on any issue and not feel weakened, that the government will be destabilized. Or, if there are on Soros, if there is evidence, let the government move. If Congress leaders have been anti-national, let them take action on it. But all this could be discussed, what we are discussing in the studio, on the floor of the House. Parliament is supreme in that way. And I think enough is enough now. Both sides need to climb down and see how to find a way out, how to have a discussion. The discussion on Constitution is, as you said, slated for 13th and 14th. Every issue can be discussed under it. It's wide enough a subject. But somewhere I hope that the Prime Minister will now take the initiative himself, reach out to Mr. Kharge, reach out to some others, and sit down and find a way out of this. You cannot have Parliament stalled like this day after day. You owe better to the people of India.
Okay. You owe better to the people of India, both the government and the opposition, and many people, Karan, will say. Thank you, Neerja ji, for your perspective. Karan, many people will say, ultimately, the job of running Parliament is the government's, not the opposition. And the government has done absolutely nothing, precious little, to ensure that Parliament runs.
What do you expect the government to do? You want them to bend over and touch their feet despite them being absolutely spoiled right from day one? We remember when this Lok Sabha was formed and Rahul Gandhi became the leader of the opposition. You must remember that, Shreya. What we saw while the Prime Minister was even addressing for the motion of thanks to the President, Rahul Gandhi and his entire team was sloganeering. They jumped into the well. In fact, they did not even show the decency. They pitted a candidate against the selection of the speaker, you would remember. K. Suresh against Om Birla. And in fact, Sharad Pawar said, it doesn't augur well for the optics. Right from day one, on every single issue, not just this Lok Sabha, I would say. If we trace back, Pegasus, BBC, Hindenburg. I mean, this opposition, in fact, I would not even say the opposition anymore. It's the Congress party, and even other members are now getting disillusioned with the Congress party. They just want to stall the parliament. Akhilesh Yadav did discuss Sambal, did he not? Even though he was factually incorrect on many accounts, but that's okay. He discussed it on the floor of the House. Why can't the Congress party discuss anything? And why should Soros not be discussed? It's a very serious issue. This is no longer a conspiracy theory.
Then the Congress will ask, why can Adani not be discussed?
Absolutely, it can be discussed.
The government doesn't want to do it.
No, they are lying about it. Now, I'll give you some facts.
The government is lying about it.
No, the opposition is lying about it. Adani, for saying that Adani has not been investigated, there's a Supreme Court appointed panel which gave a clean chit to Adani, which in fact said that those who made use of the Hindenburg report and short sold and made money, they should be prosecuted. Adani has faced 49 investigations, including one by the Karnataka Lokayukt, by the DRI, the Department of Revenue Intelligence. So saying that Adani has not faced any investigations, they want to make this an issue. 65,000 crores was given by Gehlot when he was Rajasthan CM, Congress party. 20,000 crores project for mining forest given in Chhattisgarh when Bhupesh Baghel. So you must understand, the opposition stands exposed. They think they can fool the people in this day and age of 24/7 media and social media. People now understand that you want to disrupt for the sake of it. Okay. And this cannot continue. Even the allies are growing tired of you now.
Speaking of allies, Tausif Ahmed Khan, who's fooling who? Is the government fooling the people of this country, or is the opposition fooling the people of this country? Or is it both?
So you see, the more government tries to defend Adani, the more the protests will be. It is the government who is against a discussion on the Adani issue in the parliament. But the Congress equally is adamant. And as a result, what is happening is there is no debate. Only these two political parties have hijacked the entire parliamentarian debate. In India is a multi-party system. It is not a two-party system. There are other parties who have their issues. Bengal is represented by Trinamool. Other parties are representing other states. And how will the other parties will get a chance to discuss the issues that we are facing in our states? Therefore, it is equally important for both the parties, for BJP as well as Congress, to allow the debates and discussions to happen. Nevertheless, since government is in power, since the chairman is responsible for conducting the House, the primary responsibility rests on the chairman. And the chairman, the vice president and the chairman of the Rajya Sabha is a known offender. Right from the days when he was the governor in West Bengal, he has spoken like the party spokesperson of BJP. I mean, in a constitutional post as a chairman of Rajya Sabha, he cannot take sides, and he has been seen openly, criticizing the opposition, openly defending and furthering the narratives of the government. This is undone, and this is not done, and that is why you have seen all the opposition parties have signed on the notice of motion, which is moved against the vice president. Nevertheless, right now the need of the hour is that the debate and discussion must continue in the parliament, and both Congress as well as the BJP must realize that there are other parties as well, there are other states as well, and there are other issues equally important. Samajwadi Party have been wanting to discuss Sambal from long ago. There are issues in Bengal that Trinamool wants to raise in parliament, but is not getting a chance. Similarly, South Indian states parties, they want to raise their issues. Therefore, the two biggest parties, the party number one, the party number two, must realize that others must be given a chance to speak up. They too alone cannot hijack the entire parliament.
Sujata Paul, I'll give you 10 seconds. Okay,
Yes.
10 seconds, Sujata Paul, this is your ally speaking, saying the government and the Congress party both have hijacked parliament. 10 seconds.
I do understand where the allies are coming from, but we must also remember that it is the Honorable Vice President who is disrupting Parliament. The moment you say the words Manipur, Adani, he'll say, no, nothing will go on record. So he will not allow anybody to speak. Don't you remember? He's the one who suspended 146 MPs. So the responsibility lies on the government. Let them have a discussion on Adani and finish it off. We want discussion. We want everybody to get a chance to speak.
10 seconds.
So
10 seconds.
So Shreya, the vice president, the Rajya Sabha speaker has to follow the rule book. If following the rule book is hurting them, Derek O'Brien, we remember what he did last season. You remember that? Consistently shouting over the speaker, flouting all norms. What do you expect them to do? No. Suspension is going to come. If you are going to flout all norms, if you are going to jump into the well, if you are going to resort to consistent sloganeering, there has to be some decorum. And if he maintains that, someone who has been posture shamed, someone who has been mimicked, by the way, the way they've undermined a constitutional position, that is what is deplorable, to be honest.
Karan, the rule book has to be the same for everyone.
Sure,
you can't have one rule book for the opposition and the other rule book for the government. We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much, Karan, for joining us. Jasmine, thank you very much. Sujata ji, thank you very much. Tausif, good to have you on the show. And Nirja ji, thank you very much for taking our questions as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. Coming up next is the very tragic suicide